So just real quickly, some opportunities here for some employers. One is you offer the full-time employees qualifying coverage, what you're supposed to, but at the maximum affordable cost. This works for this reason. You've done everything the law asks you to do. You've offered qualifying coverage at an affordable cost. It might be max affordable cost, but you've done what the law asks you to do. You are off the penalty hook. It doesn't matter if the employees don't take you up on the offer. And that's what this employer is going to be banking on, a relatively modest take-up rate because of the expense or the cost of the coverage. The lower the take-up rate, the less the employer spends in employer-based subsidies for coverage. That's one way out of the bind. Here's another. Offer minimum essential coverage, not qualifying coverage. You're simply going to offer the employee the bare minimum he needs or she needs to avoid the individual mandate penalty. The employer's neck is sticking out there a little bit because you're not offering the kind of coverage the reform law says the employer should be offering. You make that bare minimum coverage, you make it very inexpensive. Here's what you're counting on. You're counting on the employee taking that inexpensive coverage to avoid the individual mandate penalty. If they take your coverage, even though it might not be very robust, they're likely not going to go over here to the insurance exchanges and buy coverage there, even with subsidies.
Yeah, and in this scenario, you might take your salaried staff that are receiving benefits today, you gross them up pay-wise and send them to a private exchange. That'd be kind of a scenario that could evolve.
The third possibility is that you offer the employees qualifying coverage, what you're supposed to, that reasonably robust coverage, but you set your employee contribution rate so that it is deliberately unaffordable for some segment of the population. And here, Eric will talk about in just one moment, here is an opportunity for a win-win. Those employees can win by going to the exchanges, and the employer can win by sending them there. Eric, tell us about the exchanges and how they work.
Back to that last example, the way the exchanges are set up, they cap what a person has to pay for insurance based on a percent of their income. Okay, so it's a unique shopping experience, right? An example of buying a car, they would say the most you have to pay for a car is $1,000. You got to go buy a Honda, but the most you have to pay is $1,000. That's how the exchange works. Okay, so individuals go out to the exchange. They know exactly what they're going to have to pay. Now they just go out and select a plan based on network, features that they find attractive when they're shopping, things of that nature. That creates an easy communication challenge for employers as they consider their program versus the exchange. One last thing about the $1,000 example. The price of the car, price of the products on the exchange doesn't vary by age. So a 25-year-old will have the same price as a 62-year-old. So a pre-65 retiree that wants to get out, wants to retire, has an opportunity to financially engineer their income, if you will, either deferred or farm losses or whatever instruments are out there to lower their income for the year before they retire, 2 years actually. But then they could get into the exchange and spend a fixed dollar amount for buying insurance, usually about 4 times less than what they have to pay in a typical market. So
there's a lot going on here, and it's easy to get lost in the translation. It reminds me of my son is a senior at Kansas this year, and he's a physics major, but his real love is microbiology. And he moved into a new apartment in August. And his landlord's a younger guy, maybe mid-30s. And Eddie said to the landlord, he said as they were signing the lease, he says, hey, I hope this isn't a deal breaker, but one of Ed's hobbies is he likes to do experiments with plants. And for example, he's working to take some enzyme out of like a lightning bug and graft it onto the DNA or something of a plant, see if he can get the plant to glow in the dark just for fun. This is what he does for fun. Yeah. I play golf. I play the guitar. He makes plants glow in the dark. But he says to the landlords, hey, I just want to mention to you, I hope it's not a deal breaker, but I do some experiments with plants, and I grow them inside under a glow light in the house. Is that going to be a problem? And the guy cuts him off and goes, say no more, man. Say no more. That's cool. And if you get some really good herb, save me a bud. Sometimes you think you need some really good herb, kind of work your way through some of this.
I have no idea how that goes to exchanges, but that's brilliant, Ed.
Take it away, Eric.
I went to school in Lawrence as well, so I know where he's coming from. All right, here's how the exchange works, and I'll start at the bottom. Okay, this is a single person making with a household income of $20,000. A lot of people in this category, right? A lot of people, especially out of college or just workforces in rural markets or wherever. There's a lot of people in that category. How about a family, though? $45,000 household income. Couple kids, possibly. Here's what they pay on the public exchange. It's guaranteed. They will pay they'll get a plan with an actual value of 87%. Okay, that's almost a complete pizza, right? That's almost complete. Maybe a couple slices off of that one. That's a nice sized pizza. They pay $85 a month. Okay, and for family you pay $250. Okay, so that's not bad, right? That's not bad, because if you look at what employers do on the first line there, okay, employers they charge $100, or they will in 2014. I'm trending things forward here a little bit, and they pay $350 for family coverage. Now they have to buy on the exchange post-tax. I didn't factor all that in, but you can see this person might be better off going to the exchange. Now, if you had a wellness penalty that's 30% of the rate that says, if you have these risk factors, you got to pay more. You're going to pay $250 instead. Well, now that person's qualified possibly to go to the exchange because they don't meet the 9.5% rule. This is back to the model. Okay, 1,000 scenarios have been run. Oh, wait, haven't run the scenarios yet, sorry. This is pay or play. This is, why don't we just terminate and get out, pay the $2,000 penalty, etc. So what we display here is the financial impact to your employees by income. Okay, so the bar represents a delta between what they spend today on your program versus what they'll spend when they go to the exchange, because you've terminated, you're out. I guess that's green, are winners. They do better under the exchange. You have done them a favor by getting out, okay? And they save around $1,000. Then you have, as the income goes up, now they have no subsidy. They're usually older. They have families. They lost out maybe $15,000, $20,000. Not a good scenario for the executive team, right? Or anybody in the leadership manager positions in an organization. If you draw the line, now in terms of an employer, this is what the workforce looks like. Okay, this is the number of people they have in each income bracket. Okay, so they have the greatest number of people over here that could be possibly winners under the exchange. But they also have a very wide bracket of people that are going to lose, and their losses are fairly significant. So the concept of efficient frontier is, let's take advantage of the winners and not have so many losers out there. So last time we had this conference, everybody said we didn't have enough numbers. We didn't get into the numbers enough. So I brought this out. If you click, I'm going to go through it quickly, though. So we're running out of time, and I think circles come up to display. This is an example of what you do today, which is play, versus what you spent 72. Play versus pay, which means you terminate your program, versus optimize. Okay, so I drew the first circle around optimize. This is where we're taking people and we're sending them to the exchange. So the head count there is around 4,800 that we're providing coverage for. Half of them, roughly, go to the exchange. Okay, we got all those winners out to the exchange. We kept our plan for the rest of the group. Right now, me and the employer and the employees, the employer spends $40.8 million. The employees spend $31 million. They together spend $72 million. Okay, if you get out, I don't know if you can hit it again, if the circle's going to go. Oh, nope, it didn't. I'll stick with the middle column. Your employer will spend $25 million. It saves them $15 million to get out because they provide decent coverage today for their employees. But the employee cost goes up to $64 million. Now we got a lot of losers out there, right? You and the employee's cost goes to $90 million. I didn't even circle it because it's, that doesn't sound like a very good deal, right? $72 million to $90 million. What does sound like a good deal is $72 million. Me and my employees spend $61 million. So the employer saves $1.1 million. The employee saves $10 million. That's the concept of optimizing your program to in a workforce that's like that. If you flip the next slide. What you then display, same result as the first graph. Now we're looking at a lot of blues, a lot of winners, even within my upper income bracket. And you display the lines again, Ed. And we look at the number of people that win, which is the green, and the losers. Unfortunately, whenever you redesign anything and when you optimize, not everybody's going to win. But this gives you the maximum amount of winners possible under healthcare reform.
So which of the following most accurately matches your sentiment regarding the player pay mandate on employers and the challenges and opportunities that it presents? No big deal. Managing plan costs is more of a concern. A big deal. Need to consider all our options. Or today, more than ever, the nation needs Chuck Norris. And the survey says, yeah, I think that's great.
I think that's great.
And that's what we wanted you to come away with today, was an understanding that there are opportunities to exploit. And there are some minefields, there are some dangers, there are some opportunities for a great many employers to exploit by manipulating their plan design and their program.